What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Laser, and I know it's been a minute since I gave my last update on the project car, but we've been really super busy, so let's just get right into it. I've been having a really hard time finding parts for my car, the ones that I wanted, but then I found a 1990 Mustang. Somebody was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and he wanted 1,500 bucks for it. I asked him if he would take $1,000 for it. He said yes, so we brought this thing over to the farm, and it has everything we need, guys. It has that 8.8 rear end in it, has a T5 transmission in it, has a lot of cool little aftermarket parts on it. It has an SVE aluminum radiator, it has BBK headers, it has like a 650 CFM Holley carburetor, and a bucket full of goodies like hoses and belts. It comes with an alternator, and I don't have an alternator, so I mean, all these little things help us for sure. So this thing has been through the ringer. I am the 7th owner, and when we picked it up, the story that I got is it was an EFI, had electronic fuel injection, but they tried to switch it to carbureted, and since they've tried to swap it, it has not ran. But I couldn't help myself. I had to try to get this thing started just to see how this thing ran, since we're gonna be using these parts. I wanna see what I'm working with, right? Wow. This thing was like messed up. It was $1,000, definitely worth it. I'm not complaining, but wow, this thing was goofy as shit. The starter had one bolt in it, and I didn't check the starter when I tried to start this thing, but there was only one bolt in it, and so it was kind of hanging halfway out. And so when the starter tried to engage, one of the earlobes off the starter housing ripped off. It ripped all the gearing off of the teeth on the starter and busted off the little pinion. And I didn't find this out after like the 3rd crank, when the engine started making this like really nasty noise. And I was like kind of spooked. I was like, oh great, this engine shot. But no, it was just the starter falling out because somebody only put one bolt in it. So second thing is that the whole entire firing order for the coils and the distributor were completely off. So I had to rip all the little plugs off. It's no wonder why this thing wouldn't start. So then we had no power to the ignition, so we had to figure out that. We got the starter figured out. I had to buy a new starter. We got the fuel lines put into fresh gas, and then we had to fill the carb full of gas, and we finally got this thing started. And once we got this thing started, the downpipes were not hooked up to the headers, so it was just exhaust was everywhere. None of the cooling system was hooked up, so we couldn't run it for very long. It's like at this point, I got the thing running, it sounds healthy, and I think the first thing that we're gonna do is rip off the rear end. Alright, first thing, we finally finished the subframe connectors. So they're in, we're good to go. We've also welded in the floor pan seat brace, so that's installed now. After we were done with that, we had a little bit more of the car we had to take apart. The front K-member is still in, and then the rear axle was still in. So when I was taking off the K-member, I was trying to do this all by myself, so I ran into a little bit of trouble there. I didn't have enough jack stands and jacks, so when I unbolted everything and I started to bring it down, it kind of fell on me. But we're actually not reusing it because we want to do a tubed K-member. So now that we have the front K-member off, I measured to see if the front end of the car is square, and it's not. It's about 1.5 inches off from side to side. So I've been calling around to some frame straightening shops, and then I'm also playing with the idea of just tubing the front end. I don't know which way to go yet, but that's where we're at with that. So while we were stripping the car, we also took out the rear quarter windows, the rear bumper, and the sunroof. And we're just prepping this entire thing, so when I go get it soda blasted or sand blasted, I'm thinking soda blasting it. So the more I take off now, the more little nooks and crannies he's gonna be able to get to. So when I go ahead and paint it, you know, I'm gonna keep that rust off of the frame. So while I was taking the car apart, I got a little antsy and I started to take the block apart so I can take it to a machine shop and get hot tanked and cleaned. We're gonna put the internals back in it with new bearings, and we're gonna run it as just a regular 302. I'm shooting for at least 350 horse. So I know I said I was gonna leave the paint original, but now that everything else is gonna look all pretty and clean. I've been playing with the idea of painting the outside. But my idea is to paint it that gray, kind of dark gray with black pace car decals on it, and then also all black trim, black wheels, lowering it a little bit. Let me know what you guys think, if I should be doing this or not. I mean, maybe you guys can help me make a decision because I'm having a really hard time making a decision on this. I also got a little bit squirrely and I cleaned the wheels, the center lines that came on the pace car just to see how it would look. I just wanted to break from that. And I wanted to try something else for a little bit, so I cleaned the center lines. So about the other pace car. So I thought I was going to rip out the interior of the other pace car and install it in mine, but it was just, I didn't have it in me to rip apart a perfectly good pace car just to put it into my pace car. So I sold it. Sorry guys, I mean, I got rid of the thing, but good news is we made profit and we kept it for around a month, and all we did to it was wash it. I took some pictures of it, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and it sold within 3 days. The car cost me $500. I paid about $100 in fuel, and I spent about $100 on a trailer rental. So that gave us $2,300 profit that we can now just dump into race car parts for our project car. So we win. I mean, that's badass. That's where we're at. Hit that like button, click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.